Before we kick this off, let me know how you guys are enjoying them hockey picks. Saturday's card, I'm giving you another top three picks, and we're gonna kick it off with one game that we pretty much already cashed on. We had the Buffalo Sabres at home, and we cashed on them against these Maple Leafs. Except this was in Buffalo, in New York, and the Maple Leafs were actually were on the road. Now they're back at home. So now that we have the Buffalo Sabres going into Toronto, I actually like the Toronto side this time. I like the Toronto side for -1.5 for +147. Remember what I told you guys? A lot of hockey games, 55 around right around 50 to 60% of the time, they're two goal games. Most games are two goals. So whether you see a +1.5, -1.5 for plus money, it's never a bad idea to really lean towards that side. But I like the Maple Leafs in this one because I think it's a clear revenge spot. These Maple Leafs just got embarrassed by Buffalo. Now Buffalo has to go to Toronto. I think Toronto has more than enough talent to cover this -1.5. So for pick number one, Toronto Maple Leafs to cover the -1.5 for +147. All right, guys. So for your second pick, your second NHL pick for Saturday, October 25th, we have the Blue Jackets coming into Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is coming off of a very, very impressive win against the defending champions, Florida Panthers. I did tell you guys the last time we covered the Blue Jackets that they were very, very inconsistent, whether they're on the road or at home. They're just inconsistent in their results overall. But how about we put that inconsistency in our favor? I think it's a clear letdown spot for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think coming off of a very impressive win against the defending champions, I think it's a solid letdown spot against the Blue Jackets. So for your second pick, I like the Blue Jackets at +105. Another thing that makes me question it is why are we only getting +105 with the Blue Jackets? Why is it only +105? We could argue that it's Pittsburgh. It's not that big of a market team, but they just beat the defending champs. You would think Pittsburgh is at home. They probably should be a bigger favorite, but they're not. So for me, just doing some line reading and, trying to put Columbus's little inconsistencies into my favor, I'm going to take him on the money line for +105 on Saturday. And your third pick for Saturday, guys, we have the Hurricanes on the road to Dallas. Dallas have now lost 4 games in a row. That's something you would just don't see too often from this Dallas team. This Dallas team is just very solid, and I know this Hurricanes team is actually very, very strong too, playing some excellent hockey. These Hurricanes just playing some excellent hockey. But I don't think this Dallas Stars downward spiral, I just don't think it continues. I think it stops here. I'm going to take Dallas Stars for -120 against the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes have been on the road for quite a while now. I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked at the schedule, being completely honest with you guys. I haven't looked at the schedule, but I do think after this game in Dallas, I think they can finally head back home. But the Hurricanes had a pretty solid road trip. They only had that loss against, I believe it was Vegas, which was obviously one of the tougher teams in the West. But they're on this little West Coast road trip. Now they're probably starting to head back towards Carolina. But I think Dallas Stars finally breaks their 3-game, 4-game losing streak that they've been on. This is just not like Dallas, especially last year. They still have pretty much a similar squad. There's a couple pieces that got let go, but this Dallas Stars team is more than talented. They should not be on this downward spiral, and I think it stops on Saturday. So Dallas Stars for -120 for me to finish off your guys' top 3 picks for Saturday.